Wow, good morning, everyone. Wabashikanu Dagashan Disnakas, Boca Rockridge, with you live with MTN Live today, Wednesday, the 20th of July. First off, I'd like to welcome everyone to our new broadcast, our new show, and this is exciting times for us. So we have a really good guest on today. As you know, MTN Live is the portal of the news in the Treaty 2 territory, and we are owned and operated by the First Nations and Treaty 2 territory government. We're a incorporated body, both the Anishinaabe Corporation and Corporation through Canada. So this really gives us the opportunity to really flourish in our Anishinaabe nation and our ways of reclaiming our governance. We have a great guest on today, and I'd like to first introduce you, our policy keeper with the Government of First Nations and Treaty 2 territory, McPherson. Good morning, Kim. How are you doing today?
Oh, good morning. I'm doing well. It's a nice sunny day outside today, and so yeah, it's not raining.
Right on. Excellent. You're a policy keeper through the Intergovernmental, which is a bundle of the executive. And what are your thoughts right now on Minnow Bidazwin, your balance and your everyday life of well-being and wellness?
Mm. Well, I try to make sure that I'm eating well, sleeping well, trying to balance my work life and personal life. I spend a lot of time with my family, my friends, and since COVID, I've been trying to get out a bit more. And I didn't realize how much it affected me during COVID. Staying at home, doing the public health measures, and so I'm trying to get out of that cocoon right now. But yeah, it's I'm trying, to eat and sleep and read, keep in touch with people. So that's what I'm doing right now to stay balanced.
Okay, excellent. What I'd like to do is go right into the the broadcast itself is focusing right now on making sure that we can talk about intergovernmental and where we're at with our intergovernmental focus on policy as well as um,
Okay. So I just wanted to share that I am a Peguis First Nation citizen, and our community resides in Treaty 2 territory. I just wanted to share that I'm here on behalf of Karen Kijik today, who is enjoying her rest and relaxation right now as she takes some well-earned holidays. I have worked in the provincial system for 18 years, and a lot of my focus was on intergovernmental relations and also health and well-being. I want to share that I do have a degree both in nursing and in law, which has been very valuable to help me as a policy analyst and a manager over the years. I did start with Treaty 2 territory on June 27th. It's actually my second run with Treaty 2 territory. I was here last year from April to September, and mostly focusing on health and well-being circle. So this time around, I am helping with as a policy keeper through Intergovernmental. 75% of my time and 25% of my time is allocated to the oversight of health and well-being circle. I am just focused on orientation with Treaty 2 territory government and catching up on the work of the circles, where Treaty 2 territory is. So it's been a really great learning experience, and I'm excited to be back with Treaty 2 territory. Right now, as the doing some of the intergovernmental work, I'm focusing on supporting law development in the different areas and circles, and also providing policy support to the circles such as children, family, nations. peacemaking, citizenship law. So as time goes on, I'll be more involved in that. So I'm looking forward to doing that kind of work. Um, right now, my focus is on developing work plans for both the intergovernmental work and also the health and well-being work that will support the law development in both of these areas. Some of the areas of the intergovernmental work plan include providing an advisory role in a political and a policy capacity. I will work with Karen by attending meetings with various ministers, in different governments, such as the Government of Canada, supporting intergovernmental relations, attending meetings, and helping to prepare and write communication materials such as correspondence, letters, drafting briefing notes for the leadership. And also, I'll have the opportunity, and I had the opportunity to sit on one meeting at the Rights and Recognition table and all that work that's happening there. So, yeah, my work will be focusing on that. Um, as I prepare for the Grand Council, I'm getting a lot of great direction from Bo and the Circle Keeper on, I guess, starting to create that really important citizenship law for Treaty 2 territory. Um, and for Grand Council, what we would like to do is provide an update on some of the work we've been doing to the citizens and the leadership, and seeking input and direction on the upcoming engagement process that will inform the law development. So it's going to be a really busy and exciting time to help develop this law because citizenship is so important. And the time frame, I'm hoping by, or we're hoping by next year that the citizenship law will be ready to be presented for review and ratification at next year's Grand Council meeting or gathering. Um, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about citizenship because I think it's so important to understand and know and hear from the local nation citizens and leadership, because before colonization and the introduction of the Indian Act, we had our own sophisticated systems where we defined our own citizenship. So and to support that, Treaty 2 territory government passed a couple of resolutions in the past, the latest one being in 2020, where we were directed to work with the local nations to harmonize their laws with the Treaty 2 citizenship law that will be developed. Currently, we're working on an engagement plan to ensure that we do this important and critical work with each local nation, and to hear from the citizens on what that law could look like. So the work is going to be about entrenching, reclaiming, and restoring control and jurisdiction of Treaty 2 citizenship sovereignty. It'll help us to restore, reclaim identity, balance, and healing of initiative citizens, to government to oversee and monitor citizenship in the territory, such as, for example, establishing an enrollment circle. It'll also help to create an administrative process where policies can be developed, where membership lists are protected, population growth can be monitored, and protection of rights within Treaty 2 territory. So these are just some examples of what could be in the law, and the engagement process. We will hear from citizens on what other components need to be in that law and what it's going to look like. So that's some really exciting work that we're planning to do over now and until next year. So that's intergovernmental. I wanted to share as an update.
Excellent.
Would you like me to, did you have any questions, Bo, before I talk about health and well-being?
Just the one question. Of course, you talked about going into the Grand Council. Of course, the first day we plan to announce the engagement of citizenship. Of course, you mentioned the resolution. Councillor Barry Bone from Kishikunun is very adamant that he'd like to see the citizenship for our territory and our Anishinaabe in a new nation. So we want to assure right off the hop going into the Grand Council. So you're preparing for 3 o'clock, of course, in the afternoon of the first day. You're preparing some questions, you said, right? So what are some of those questions that we're going to be asking the members and citizens of our territory?
Okay, yeah, if you'll just give me one moment, I'm actually going to just to I have it written down, so I will share what some of those questions will be. Some of the engagement questions will be what dialogue or teachings do you remember or recall from your elders or knowledge keepers on what citizenship meant as an Anishinaabe, Innu member, and how has that changed since that time? Another question, how do we reclaim and restore our citizenship sovereignty? How and who do we engage with to develop the citizenship law? So we do the engagement right, and we do it in a good and respectful way. And also, how do we protect and access our treaty, our status, inherent rights for both on and off reserve citizens? As we're working towards citizenship and restoring that sovereignty. So those are some of the main questions that we will be asking at the Grand Council. So.
Oh, excellent. That's great. I think that's good to know. And let's now talk about health and well-being, and that's 25% of your daily task to really ensure that the health and well-being work is done through the circle. This time around, of course, we've been able to redo and reclaim our structure in regards to Nuckalaway Win through the executive. So the circles now are under the executive and it looks really sharp. Tell us a bit about the health and well-being as well, Kim.
Okay, so since I started in June, because I did some work last year on health and well-being, there was a draft work plan and a budget that I had developed, and I started doing some law development, but that work will be picked up after I'm like right now my priority is that citizenship law, right? So once things start to settle down, after getting the materials ready for Grand Council and after Grand Council, part of my other work will be to finalize that health and well-being work plan and also budget, and again beginning drafting the health and well-being law. So I'm hoping that by next year, and this is aspirational, and we want to be aspirational, that we do have a health and well-being law that we can present for ratification. And again, as part of that work plan, it's going to be we would like to have a robust engagement plan as well as we are with citizenship, to hear from the local nations and the citizenship and the leadership as well. And some of the elements of the health and well-being law, that could be included in the law framework, is taking a look at how do we secure sustainable health funding, establishing health and wellness centers in local nations, ensuring quality care and oversight for all local nations for health care, looking at strategies for health and human resource training, and how do we bring and how do we have more citizens and youth going into the health sector. Also exploring health data and knowledge sovereignty, looking at an area of health of the law where we could enforce health related orders, just like as we've seen with the pandemic, some of the communities created health bylaws, and how do we get that enforced? So, it's working with other circles, like peacemaking, and linking it to the peacemaking structure, and, ensuring that the law is consistent with that piece of that piece of law as well. So and then there might be other things that will be identified once engagement starts. So again, it's going to be very exciting work. It's going to be hard work. Once we start drafting the health and well-being law, and having those engagement sessions. And I just wanted to share that before I left last year in September, we were fortunate to have many of the local nation health directors participate in an engagement session. And there we heard some really creative and unique ideas, themes, and challenges, that should be considered within the health law, and also next steps for engagement. So I'm hoping to go back to some of that, some of the notes from that meeting and build on it after Grand Council. So we have a lot of work ahead. And that's kind of a bit of the update. So I don't know if you had any questions or if you wanted me to clarify anything.
Well, I think that's excellent. That's a great overview of the health and well-being circle, and there's been a lot of work on it. There's going to be more work. Right now, we're working on the Nuckalaway win as well, and engagement after the Grand Council. So is there any thoughts on next steps with engagements starting in September that you see with the health and well-being?
Well, right now, that's what I need to work on, is that doing that engagement plan and that strategy. So I'll be working with the Circle Keeper to start developing that and making it, identifying what that is. So building on engaging with the local nation health directors and getting their advice again. And, so we'll run through the engagement plan with the councils and some of the wonderful local nation health directors that are out there that are so knowledgeable, and that they can tell us how to do it, and build on that. So it's kind of the next steps after we're done with Grand Council. So there's a lot of work ahead, and hopefully we can get that done sooner than later so that we can actually do the engagement sessions. And and working with some of the local nation regional offices as well on how to do engagement and what's the best approach. So doing it from that and really drawing on what's out there already.
Excellent, Kim. Well, Keach Miigwech, Nanaskamin, thank you very much. At this time, it was a wonderful experience to hear what's happening in intergovernmental as well as health and well-being. Any last comments before we sign off today?
No, I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to give an update. Since I started, there's been a lot of work, and I'm really glad to share some of the things that Karen and I, and also Dakota, one of the regional keepers as well, helping with citizenship law, and and really start building what that's going to look like and how we're going to do it, and hopefully have a great have two great laws out of it. So
excellent. Well, keep up the great work. You have a wonderful head keeper in Intergovernmental, Karen Kijek. She does a lot of great work for our government, and we continue on. Of course, Intergovernmental plays a huge part in all agreements with Canada, Manitoba, and Saskatchewan, and internationally as well. So with that, thank you very much for your time, Kim. It was a wonderful experience speaking with you and interviewing you today. Keep up the great work, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Great. Thank you so much. Bye.